Hi, my name is Cody Munn. I'm a video game composer, and I worked on the game Creatures of War. I'd like to share with you what I've learned over sharing my music for the past 10 days. And I've done it in a couple of ways, and it's really forced me to kind of understand the nature of the music that I've created. What I've been doing is releasing music to gameplay and effects, so the music in context, 2 minutes, 2-minute videos, and the music just by itself, audio only. And releasing it on my own and taking the initiative to share my work as well as the game and be an advocate for the game I worked on has taught me a number of things. One is it's taught me the importance of sharing and showing the process. I have this as a result, and here's what we had before, and here's how I got there. Showing the legwork, showing the details, and that is to come. I would not have learned that had I not shared what I could. You know what I mean? I think doing things and learning from them is very important. And that sounds kind of simple and weird to say, but I wouldn't have known that if I had just jumped in and started making videos, making what I could with the tools that I have. What this has done very quickly is made me step back and self-analyze, like, what am I doing? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to achieve? So I'll share this. What is the purpose of music in games? That is the question I was asking myself last night at 2 a.m. No joke. Like, I'm up till 2, 3 a.m. just thinking about all this, because it does get really depressing when you're trying to get somewhere and you can't figure out how, right? So we start asking those tough questions. Like, it just came into my mind. What is the purpose of music in games? Well, for the game Creatures of War, it's a 2D action survival horror game with Jurassic elements. It's a survival horror game. So me knowing that, based on my tastes, from Silent Hill to Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Parasite Eve, those 4 quadrants of my survival horror sound, and understanding what the developer was asking me, Resident Evil 4, Dino Crisis, understanding that foundational need for the music in the game armed me with what I needed. Let's go back to the question, though. What is the purpose of music in games? It's to add to the atmosphere of the game, to accentuate the gameplay, to inform the player on what they should think or feel, to add a crucial element of audio to increase the immersion, to create the immersion for the user. I think all those things are accurate, and understanding that to a certain degree here, what is my music I'm trying to share? Well, the goal for the music that I created for the developer for his game is non-intrusive in nature, meaning it's additive. It's adding to the atmosphere. The atmosphere in this game is massive. It's a big game with 8 big levels. The music for the game doesn't need a ton of melodies and changes in harmony and things. It needs a almost static nature, bringing the player, enveloping the player in whatever biome they're in. Whether they're in the swamp or the laboratory or they're in the frozen peaks, they should feel like they're there, with that flavor of survival horror that the player base is coming into. I said during development, we should trust our players. We should make these environments a little more alive with adding the atmosphere into the music, including drones and textures in the music. The music should be a canvas that the effects pop out on and the gameplay is enhanced. When I realized this, it made me feel a little better. I've been kind of depressed about my music. Maybe you get depressed about your music or your work too. You know, what am I doing? What am I trying to do? Why aren't people saying that it's good? You know, like these things, I'd be dishonest if I didn't say that, right? Like we want praise. We want people to like what we do so that we can do more of it or we could work for them, right? So when I asked this fundamental question, what is music for in games? It showed me, it kind of brought me back to what the developer asked for. They asked for this type of music. I delivered that type of music. I fulfilled that promise. I was paid for it. They're happy. Fair enough. And then it brought me to the Steam page of Creatures of War. The game's been out for about 3 weeks now, and it is holding positive reviews, which I'm very grateful for. And I thank you all to the players that are playing the game and enjoying it. I read and pour through this Steam page every day to get perspective, not to feed my ego or try to look, oh, what are they saying about the music? Like, of course I'm looking for those things, but I'm genuinely curious about people who are playing the game. What are they saying? I'm looking at streamers playing the game. I'm looking at the Steam reviews, and I'm looking at what generally each of them are saying. And they are saying a lot of good and a lot of constructive criticism. The developer's been patching the game based on that feedback, which is excellent. I think this is an incredible community and resource on Steam, on the Steam page. But what I'm seeing on the Steam page didn't really make sense till now. It's what people are saying about how the game feels. They like the game. They're saying that it's a real survival horror experience. It's immersive. There's a lot of cool elements. There's a lot of things people are enjoying despite the shortcomings of the game that are being worked on based on that feedback. You know, it's not a perfect game, but there's a lot of things that are going for it. And that seems to be the atmosphere. This really hit home for me. I aim to make an immersive experience with this music that stays out of the player's way and adds to the immersion and bringing them in. It seems to be doing that job, right? What is music for? Well, the intent of this music was to draw the player into the environment, draw the player into the atmosphere of the game and bring out the gameplay. And putting these two things together, asking that critical question of what is this music for? What purpose did this music serve? And what are the players saying? What is the player feedback saying? And they're not talking about the music. They're talking about the atmosphere, the feel of the game, right? It's like taking a song and removing the bass from it and just playing the bass part and saying that's the whole song. It's not. It's the foundation of the song, right? Listen to the song without bass in it and it's pretty damn empty, right? Put the bass back in and, oh, that sounds cool. Oh, that song's cool. That's a good song. That's a cool song. The average listener is not saying, oh, the bass line and the harmony is so good. No, they're enjoying the song. Therefore, they're enjoying the game, right? They shouldn't be paying attention to the music. The music should be informing them and accentuating the gameplay, informing them how to think and feel while they're having fun, adding to the atmosphere, adding to the experience, right? And I think that it's achieved that based on this feedback. And that understanding, I think, is important for a composer to understand what was the purpose of my music. Did it fulfill that intent? Not, did I just get paid for this and am I moving on? No, I'm trying to understand what my music has done. And me sharing my music now on its own and basing my own piece off that is not very healthy. You know what I mean? That's why I think understanding the picture as a whole. And what I've learned is it's great to share the music on its own. I need to do that. But also I can dig a little deeper and share the process behind that. And that's what I'm going to go on and do, right? But this whole thing has just forced me to step back and evaluate, what was my music for? Did it serve the game, right? And I think that it did. And based on that experience, I can learn from it, share the process, and move on and go and work for another developer and take that a step up. Maybe my next goal is to have a more focused experience, a more focused musical experience. This game, Creatures of War, is big, massive environments, and I went for a huge canvased approach. Maybe next time it's a more focused corridor type experience, like, you know, I'm fascinated by the game Crow Country, like a very focused experience, right? With focused intent on the music, more melodic, more harmonic, you know. Maybe next time I challenge myself more, right? But this time I achieved what I achieved. I got a massive soundtrack out of it, like a 90 track, 8 level soundtrack that I'm trickling out and learning as I go. I'm not going to pour it all out and then just move on. I need to spend some time with it and learn. And I think that's important. And I hope that sharing this can inspire you to evaluate what you're doing. Or maybe you've worked on something and you feel empty and you're like, what am I doing? And it's like, well, what intent did that music serve? And did it serve that intent? Did it serve the players in the end? Right? I think that's a healthier approach to our music. Because there's nothing healthy about going day in, day in, day in and day out, working all by yourself, and then just trying to feel good about something when you just shared one track, right? Like that's just one piece of a larger whole. So I think stepping back, reevaluating what is music in games for? Did my music serve that purpose? Did it serve the players in the end? Did it add to the experience? A game is a product. Did it add and serve that product? Did it serve the developer? I think those are very valid things to think of and a healthier approach than trying to just feel good about what I've done so that I can feel good. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I just want to work on games. That's why I get up out of bed in the morning. That's why I get out of bed in the morning, is because I need to make music. I need to make games. Also, I need to be honest about what I'm doing. And this music is darker. It's a survival horror game. This music is dark. It is foreboding. It is dreading. It is atmospheric. And those emotions are in me, and they're coming out into this art, into this music, and that is important to me. But keeping a healthy perspective so that I can learn, grow, and move on to work on better things and more things, I think that's part of the process. And I hope this has helped, and I'll talk with you later.